Poor Mika on MSNBC Morning Joe. Joe Scarborough's out and she's stuck on an island with Pete Buttigieg. But you know, deep down inside, she wishes she had the stimulus and the high ratings of interviewing Trump. Let's watch her flounder with Pete.
To get a government funding bill passed, but it may not amount to much. The Senate yesterday advanced a stopgap bill to fund the government until mid-November, a measure unlikely to pass the House.
Make up your mind, likely, unlikely. Yeah, it's not going to pass the House under Kevin McCarthy. All these guys are going to vote it down with a Republican narrow margin to keep this budget from going through because it's full of Democrat pork. So the Republicans are just stopping and saying, we won't sign it unless there's border security in it. Dude, the Biden administration is not going to secure the border.
The House voted to open debate on 4 funding bills, none of which would ultimately get through the Senate. Speaker Kevin McCarthy, for his part, is blaming the House's failure to pass a government funding bill on President Biden.
All the president has to do is say, you know what? As one of my fundamental jobs as the president of the United States is to secure a border.
Hey, that's good politics to blame everything on Biden. I'm all for it. I'm all for even blaming things that are not his fault on Biden purely for political gain. That's where we're at now. It's about political gain. It's I want Biden stopped and crushed and mocked so we can drink their salty tears. Here's Pete Buttigieg, the transportation whatever, looking like a zombie on TV. And again, another character that we should all be laughing at and just mercilessly making fun of him.
Joining us now, U.S. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. I guess first question for you, Mr. Secretary, is this Joe Biden's fault?
Is this Joe Biden's fault? I wonder if this is Joe Biden's fault.
And what about the crisis of the border pertaining to the big picture in terms of challenges he should address, given that he has an election coming up?
What will Pete say?
Yeah, of course that's a challenge. And
long pause. Criminal had to think of what to say. Well, there's probably a satellite delay too.
So if there was a shutdown from the perspective of a transportation secretary, what impact would it have?
Please don't tell me she just asked what impact it would have because he has so much experience being impacted.
staff, because we can't train them. It shuts down training completely. And remember,
okay, let's just bring it to slow-mo here, because this is the good day. This is really the happy ending to this whole video. It's that the government funding is set to expire on October 1st. And they say, like, oh, neither side wants it to shut down because, you know, they're going to stop having, say, border agents at the southern border, and then even more people can come over. No, dude, the problem is so bad at the southern border that you could remove all of our agents and it would not help. With the amount of people illegally pouring over our border, bigger problems are at stake than merely having the government funded. Defund the government, shut it all down, start over, everybody. That's how Dad did it. That's what I'm for. October 1st is a good day. Let's see if they have the balls to shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. If you agree with me, put it down in the description below. I want to hear from you in the chat. Just write the words, all caps, shut it down. Or do you agree that there's a point to be made that we have to fund this government? Tell me in the chat below. I'm Doug in Exile.